Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Tom Brady's natal chart, part 2. And the first thing I want to talk about is he has the North Node conjunct the Ascendant, and I've read that this aspect can give a tall or taller than average and a slender build, maybe even a little bit gangly. Tom Brady, best of my knowledge, is 6'4". He has Uranus in the first house, and this might be playing a role too, the fact that he's taller than average. Libra rising can often be taller than average too, I believe, as well. And this position can enhance the chances of notoriety and recognition, and also he has a good, it would give a good conception of what is trending as far as what's contemporary and maybe taking advantage of it. So maybe he could be good at like business or something, maybe after his NFL career. Now, he also has Pluto conjunct the Ascendant, and this could give a strong ability to penetrate subterfuges of others and duplicity. This could make him a little bit more secretive than the typical Libra rising person, but and also more mysterious. And the fact that he may, it could show a person that may project a powerful persona. The fact that that Pluto is in the 12th house, though, indicates that he might not really be that cognizant of this powerful energy that he's actually projecting. Now, another thing is he has the stellium in Libra, and yes, I'm counting the North Node. Some people may not count that. I do count the nodes in terms of the stelliums, and he has, it shows matters connected perhaps with transformation and regeneration, which is Pluto. That's one of the points in the stellium. And the mission purpose, which is the North Node, and the outer demeanor, which is the Ascendant, may be strongly integrated and concentrated. Now, with Pluto and the North Node being in the 12th house, he might not be consciously always aware maybe of how this energy is necessarily working, even though he may not know about his astrological placements. But what I mean is, as far as this actual energy he has, may not be consciously aware of it. The fact that it's in the 12th house maybe can indicate that maybe these energies are strongly maybe integrated, like in seclusion and private matters, perhaps. And this is something where maybe, I don't know if he's spiritual or not, but it could be connected with something of a spiritual nature, perhaps as well, if he is spiritual. And now, also the fact that it's in Libra, this could be maybe somewhat relationship oriented, and this might come, this energy may be somewhat refined, or maybe this has to do connected with art, beauty, and relationships. So anyway, he has a grand fire trine configuration, and this could give a strong natural ability associated with the planets and the signs that are the houses, I should say, that this is occupying. Now, he has it could give, the fact that it's a grand fire trine could give natural leadership, prowess and ability, and perhaps strong benefit through his exuberance and through his enthusiasm, through his passion, through the fire that he shows. And I think we see it in his competitive zeal when he's on the football field. And it's also, what do you know, in the 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses, these are all like the work and money. Often, well, 6th house sometimes can be money related, because 6th house sometimes could be work you're doing and not always getting paid, but still you get the general idea. This is all this is generally, I believe, for him, that this is all as far as his the 2nd house is money generated, 6th house work, 10th house career. So it's all connected with what he's really been doing for a living, I think, in his case, and they all integrate very well together. And I think the fact all this energy is just there, I think it just shows the thing that you have to be careful with in a grand trine is complacency. But I think it's safe to say, I mean, even though he has a lot of the natural abilities associated with this trine, that he has done anything but become complacent with this energy, based on what I've seen in his career. Now, he also has a mutable T-square configuration, and that consists of two planets and polar points that are opposing each other, and then it has another point that squares both those points in the opposition. Now, this could indicate a lot of exasperation and consternation, frustration, but at the same time, it could give the person an strong ability to overcome obstructions. And this could be something where, when you look at this, the point, the apex point, the point that is being squared by the 2 points in the opposition, in his case, is Mercury in the 11th, Mercury in Virgo in the 11th. The opposite point is a place to look at where maybe he could find where some alleviation from this tension and exasperation of this configuration. And that opposite point, of course, is going to be Pisces in the 5th house. So perhaps by showing the compassion, sensitivity, idealism, and even maybe forms of relaxing in matters connected with romance, perhaps, and relaxing maybe in things connected with amusement and enjoyment. This is the way maybe he can find perhaps some alleviation from the negativity of this mutable T-square. Mutable T-square can also give strong ambivalence, ambiguity. It can give certain propensity, strong propensity for worry as well, and it could have a lot of changes in maybe decisions. And anyway, the next thing I want to get at is that he has a Yacht configuration in his natal chart. A Yacht configuration, for those of you that don't know it, it's an aspect pattern consisting of 3 points. And what it is you have 2 points that make a sextile aspect, and those 2 points in conjunct a third point. Now, that third point is really like it's that apex or focal point, and that's the direction point where the person is supposed to be going in terms of this Yacht configuration. Now, the apex point in his case is the moon in Aries in the 6th house. Now, the ideal is to incorporate that energy from that sextile. Now, the sextile that he has is Mercury, and the sextile between Mercury and Uranus. And you know that the Mercury has us in Virgo, and that's very analytical. And you combine that with the Uranus energy, with the need for certain in maybe originality, ingenuity. The sextile between Mercury and Uranus can indicate strong original thinking, and also the fact you have Mercury and Virgo in that mix can give analytical thinking as well. And the ideal for him would be to incorporate that energy from the sextile into the focal or apex point of the Yacht configuration, which is the moon in Aries in the 6th house. So that would go into that aggressive, assertive, emotional energy in terms of work. So he could really, and I think we kind of see that when he's on that field. He's like the director being the quarterback, and and you see the fact that he is very, maybe second to Peyton Manning in terms of being a cerebral quarterback. He's very modest and reticent, a lot attributed, I believe, to his Libra ascendant and the fact he has a Libra stellium. But I do believe you see a lot of that energy from that Yacht going into him, and I see it, and it could indicate prodigious and monumental achievement if the person is able to work through the inconjuncts in that aspect pattern. And in that case, of course, it's the Mercury making the inconjunct to the moon and Uranus making the inconjunct to the moon. So last but not least, I wanted to talk about a very interesting transit that Tom Brady is going, really going to be having, and it's very close to actually happening right now. Transit Uranus is in a conjunction to his natal south node, which is in Aries, in the sixth house, but right very in close proximity to the seventh house cusp. Now, the fact that many of you may know he's involved, there was some Deflategate scandal that took place involving him with the Patriots, and I believe about a few months ago, Tom Brady had won the case. The NFL was trying to say that he knew he was cognizant of some information regarding deflating some footballs or something, and he had won the case in a court, but the NFL is currently appealing it. What's interesting is that the appeal is supposed to take place, I believe, on March 3rd, 2016. We'll get a load of this. The transiting Uranus is going to hit his south node on February 10th of 2016. And at that point in time, shortly after, it's going to be making the separating aspect from it. And I think this could indicate maybe there might be some closure up ahead for him in this Deflategate scandal, because I believe if Uranus is transiting Uranus, hitting the south node, and then it could indicate that it's seeking some, being able to extricate yourself or getting freedom from some negative situation that might be inhibiting or prohibiting. And even though he's victorious right now, this appeal still hasn't taken place yet. So I'm thinking this could still be in the back of his mind, and there might be some worry connected with this. But when it actually separates, maybe that's the sign that there'll be some closure. And whether he actually emerges victorious again or the NFL wins an appeal, who really knows. But what's also interesting is that on February 21st, 2016, that Uranus is going to enter the seventh house. And Uranus can indicate things that are about extemporaneous and something unanticipated or unpredictable. And what that's going to do is, the seventh house is connected with legality, so you get the general idea. And really open adversaries. And in this case, you could look at the NFL, the Roger Goodell, perhaps as an open adversary. But the thing is, the fact that it's going the seventh house of legality, so to speak, it's telling me right there, there's going to be something where he'll know there's going to be I think what happens when Uranus is in that seventh house, it might give something unanticipated connected with something spontaneous connected with something legal, and maybe it's going to pertain to this Deflategate scandal. But what I do believe is that because of that transit I told you about with Uranus hitting the south node and exactly conjoining it on February 10th, 2016, and then it begins to make the separating aspect maybe the day after on February 11th, 2016, it might be an omen that maybe this is going to come to a closure, whether he wins or whether this appeal is won by the NFL or not. Maybe the NFL gives up after this appeal if they actually lose the appeal, or maybe they put some punishment on Brady and the thing actually comes to an end. What I think it's interesting is that this is also after the Super Bowl. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Tom Brady's natal chart, part 2 of 2. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be continuing my series on the Sun and Ascendant combinations. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.